And I don't know. I thought that was a good departure, and I don't think it was her going serious either. I just, I don't know. I love it. I keep saying it. I don't care. I dig it. I think Reitman, I think he seemed to really trust the material too, which I appreciated. He just sort of trusts her words, and he went out to make it. And thank goodness that Mad Max Fury Road was delayed because she was in Australia getting ready to make it. It got canceled, then she came back and made this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, imagine. Like,
young
it's
adult.
hard to see anyone else actually.
Yeah, who could do it? Could anybody else do this? Because you
I
need to have
don't
a layer of
know.
like I like that you have this layer of instability there, like mental. I don't or like I can't think of a better word, but you have like this aura of depression or untreated mental illness, but then it's not
But
over the
also a
top.
command. Like,
Yeah.
she also has this Meryl Streep power. Like, when she's like, when she's gonna be mean to you, she's going to turn you into dust. Like, she's got this power, she's got this authority. Like, she's all over the place, and she can be ditzy and she can be a lot of things, but she commands it. Like, whatever she does,
There's a
and that's why
snake
she
in
gets
there.
away with a lot of stuff that she says, because no one takes her on because they're freaking scared of her.
Yeah, that would
She
be
commands
brutal.
it. Got it, like, that's what I say, like a Meryl Streep thing.
She could hit a level of mean that I don't think I could even fathom. I couldn't even understand if
Where
she.
with the big climax, when she laughs, when she swears at Beth, and then she starts laughing, and it's like, you should see your face. I'm joking. Oh, it's so
Oh,
cringe because clearly you were not. And it just, and that's what makes this movie so good too, because there's a lot of cringe here. Like, it's like, yeah, and it makes you, it's also a very, um, familiar, I think, to anyone who's ever been in high school, which is like a lot of us. I mean, yeah, people get like that, and chicks get like that, and people reason like that. And I mean, just her, like, when she and Matt also gets nasty and talk about the positive cripple. What is her cousin that's in the wheelchair? I think she calls
oh
him the
yeah.
positive cripple or something. I mean, they just get like, oh, they get into it. Like, oh, it's,
That guy made
yeah.
my life miserable because he was the positive guy and I was the negative one.
Exactly. Like, yeah, the two, like, disabled guys, the contrast. And that's what I love about this movie. The characters are always like contrasting each other. Again, I'm going back to that bar scene where, what's the Nibbles band? What's the
Nipple
Nibbles band?
confusion?
Nipple Confusion. Where they're playing, and, um, what did I want to, like, oh, and yeah, she's looking at Beth behind the drums and doing backup vocals. And Beth is just like, she's shining. She is joy personified. And Mavis is like her face. You're like, is it hate? It's jealousy? It's like, it's all the bad stuff just dripping from Mavis's face as she's watching Beth, the opposite, like having all these like genuine joyful feelings, and Mavis being like, is it even possible for her to feel that at all? I love it. There's all these contrasting things happening between the characters all the time. It's great scene work also. Again, like, I think, as a storyteller and especially as a filmmaker, a lot of tricks and stuff you can actually pick out from this movie specifically, and how to do scene work, how to like put the meat on those characters, how to keep them intrigued, not say too much, but not say too little. Like, I think, yeah, this is, if I taught filmmaking or like script writing even, I would probably use this movie as a example, and also be able to watch it again
And
and
90
again and
minutes
again.
too. 90 minutes.
Love it.
No,
This is one of my favorite hangout movies. Like, I've watched this probably half a dozen times. I love this movie.
That's a great point. This is a hangout movie because no real life.
Mm.
So the way I gauge a hangout movie is something like no real life lessons are learned. People get over things pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
exactly.
It's yeah, it is a good hangout picture, and 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 also too, I just want to get your thoughts about Buddy, Patrick Wilson. So I don't like I'm from St. Pete, so is Patrick Wilson. So I remember when he got big and like Alamo and Phantom of the Opera was a huge deal in St. Petersburg. We're like, yeah, local boy. But what did you think about Buddy? I mean, I wouldn't call him a total egg in Arrested Development sense. He just seems like a super chill dude
So
who,
normal.
yeah, and like I think he's more of an ideal to her, I guess, than an
I mean,
actual.
absolutely. Like she wants to go back to this idea of, she has an idea that things were better like back then with Buddy and when she was younger, and she wants to like turn back the clock. I think it's fairly obvious when, when she meets up with him for the first time in that bar and he's standing at the bar, and they show her looking at him, kind of swooning over him, and the shot we see of him, like this, supposed to be this like slow mo from bottom to top, like slow mo sexy shots, but then it's just him standing there, like it's not really this hot guy we're seeing now with the camera like panning up. It's just him looking so normal, like he looks like every man.
Mhm.
So it's definitely, yeah, her issues and imagination and all of what's going on in the head, in the very interesting head of Mavis Carey,
Yeah.
projected onto Buddy, who was her first. And then that little connection that they do have that shows like she's got some issues to work through to get over and stuff. Well, not to get over, but like to deal with. But yeah, no, he's so normal, dude. He's like every man.
There is some curiosity, I guess, too, on his point though, because they do send the email. He does meet her for drinks. It's I like that
He's
too.
very nice, but
Yeah.
I think he's like a little bit ignorant.
Yeah.
I think like Beth is definitely the smart one between the
Yeah,
two of
exactly. Yeah, he
them.
just works with
Like, I
his
think,
dad. We have lunches, we eat hoagies and pizza. Like
yeah, I
that's his big
think,
monologue when they meet. That's like his speech. Yeah, we eat pizza and hoagies. It's
yeah,
uh
he's just super normal.
oh yeah, and he doesn't know she has it because he thinks she's still married when he first sees her. Oh, okay, yeah, he does. He's like, "Oh yeah, what happened with you and Hal or Sam?" She's like, "Yeah, we're broke up." He's like, "Oof."
Yeah, yes, that's right. That's
Oh,
right.
oh, that yeah. I just remember that because then I think that makes him a little more trusting because he's like, oh, she's back in town. She's still married to yada yada. So I'm gonna go meet her
Mm.
for a drink. But yeah, I don't. I like that character too. I like that he's not a total buffoon, and I like that he's
No.
not a total like Bradley Cooper from Wedding Crashers. He's just a kind of a chill dude. Works with his dad, gets some hoagies, likes his kid,
Yeah.
supports his wife at shows, gets her drum kits. Like he's clearly supportive. And then he's like, "Oh, I just like the openness between them." He told her. I bet you that night when she came home, he's like, "Listen, Mavis kissed me. This is weird." Like, and I guess Reeser is the one who wants her back. Which is, do you think that's naive on her part? Is she trying to help? I mean, is that hitting the hornet's nest? I mean, I guess it did, but I guess they sort of miscalibrated her. I guess Mavis.
Yeah. I don't know, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that she felt sorry for her. So I guess I probably thought like in a big group setting, it wouldn't hurt and maybe it would be good for Mavis to be around other people instead of just being alone. And probably they like, you know, arguably Beth, wouldn't have wanted like Mavis to be the only one left out because that would just make Beth look mean, like, ugh, it's a lot of politics with girls, let me tell you.
How do you think the party
Um,
went after Mavis left? What do you think was the? Do you think everyone dispersed? Do you think they were able to rally and have a good time? What do you think was the aftermath of that party?
Gosh, I mean, yeah, like watching it again for the pod now, I was also like, shame. Beth actually looks like she just wants to go and take a nap now. Like that was just the most depressing thing that just happened. While she's like trying to be so nice and also just keeping everything together. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I wouldn't be surprised if some people got drunk actually, because like when weird stuff happens at events like that, then weird stuff tends to keep on happening, you know. So yeah, I don't know if they would all be as wise as to disperse and just go home. That would be very adult and very responsible, and I just don't think 30 people will all be that responsible. So.
And her parents too, they did not listen to her, did they? They still kept the photos up.
Oh
They liked the
man,
tiramisu.
right? Like, who does that? Why would you? And also, it's one thing to keep the photo up, because you like the photo of your daughter with her ex-husband, but then when your daughter asks you after the divorce, please take it down. I mean, that's when you comply, right?
Hmm.
Jeez.
Was he just, do you think, I guess if we're reading into this, they think he was a good guy? They liked him a lot, and then they just didn't really get her back because it was like her fault? But that's, because if they hated
I
him,
kind of
they would have taken it down.
I kind of like I've wondered if there were more scenes between her and her parents, potentially, and they maybe cut some, or if was it only always just that one dinner scene? Because it's interesting. I would love to know the dynamics more there. Because for me, I mean, it showed that like okay, well, this is where Mavis's stunted, like, emotional responses comes from because her parents aren't really, like, majoring in that department.
Hmm.
Because they don't. Everything's just like, it's kind of like they just make decisions to keep the peace and not rock the boat, but it never really feels super sincere, and it kind of, the reasoning doesn't always make sense. So there's a lot of avoidance is what there is. And usually, yeah, it's because people don't know how to deal with it otherwise, or like,
Yeah, that's
get all
true.
emotional.
And they would lose a battle with Mavis if they tried to go head to head with her. Clearly. So that'd be,
I keep wondering what was teenage years like in
oh
that
gosh.
house. Like, I mean, I think she just like railroaded them, right? I mean, she walked all over them probably as a teenager. I think she was out of control.
Hmm. No,
She
I
was
agree.
like, this is what's happening. And they were like, okay,
And
all the
her
time.
room is still the same. She still has something up from when she was 17, which her parents have kept, which is
Yeah.
another, or maybe that was the good times for them. Maybe she was normal then. Not normal, but for no one's normal. But yeah, there's a lot of good little production design. Also, I want to give props to when she fed her dog. There's 5 empty dog food things out there. So I like that she's responsible enough to feed her dog. She's just
But
not
then she
responsible enough to
kind of
clean up.
forgets to bring him back in
Oh
because
yeah.
he's like standing outside yapping and
Oh
let
man,
me in.
Mavis.
For that poor dog.
But
Oh.
but it's cool though, as a writer watching this. I mean, I've never written novels before, but
No.
it's kind of cool because her name's not even on the cover. I like the book. I love how bratty she is. But that guy's kind of a brat to her though, right? Because she goes to the
Listen, Bookman. I
yeah.
mean, also Bookman knows too much. Bookman is actually annoying. Okay, I'm kind of siding with her there. Whatever, Bookman. Why wouldn't you just let us sign a book? What is like the worst thing that can happen? 1 or 2 books, humor her. It's 2 books you can't send back. 2 of the piles and piles that's on that table anyway. He's just like, no, you can't, because then it's gonna be like we can't send them back.
That's a
Ah,
great point you
shut up,
make.
Bookman.
Do you think that's the most inorganic dialogue sequence because of the amount of dialogue and like these don't sell. The book thing is over. We're gonna turn them back. It might be the most
Yeah,
on
it's
the
probably the
nose.
most. Yeah, it's probably the most forced also, and kind of doesn't even make sense in a way. Like, why would that guy know so much about these books anyway? Like, I don't know. It's just, yeah, yeah, that's probably like the one where we could have less, but it was funny. It was funny. It's always a funny scene.
It would have been better if he
But
knew who she
man.
was, right? He's like, oh, okay, you're from here. You wrote these books, and then she tries to sign it. He's like, no, I don't know. There's something.
Yeah, or maybe like, she wants like to like sign the book